Today's topic is called nutrition priorities. Simple principles for lifelong health. First thing you need to do is read this slide. Every single word, there is a test later. It's not actually a test. You should write a test. In essence, I'm not your doctor. I'm not even a doctor. This is nutrition advice from a guy who knows nutrition, not medical. So if you have a very specific medical thing that prevents you from doing what I'm telling you to do, please don't do the things I'm telling you to do. If you know that eating beets causes you to, I don't know, die or something, don't take my advice and eat beets instead. Got it? That's pretty obvious. But let's be smart. Cool, moving on. Our objectives today are twofold. Number one, we're going to highlight some nutrition principles that can make you healthier. And we're going to identify some steps, some action steps you can do today to get better. Yes, there's so many seats, like, please don't feel like you have to sit right behind somebody. We have front row wide open. Candace doesn't bite, rarely bites. Candace rarely bites. Jay bites most days. Today we're going to be talking a little about
I'll fill in the front.
Diet. When I say diet, I'm using the third definition here. I don't mean that we're going to diet. I'm not talking about diet sodas. I'm talking about the things that you eat, the things that you consume. This is your diet. Using kind of a more scientific framework. As we're talking about these priorities, we're trying to get a framework. We're trying to get some approaches, some guidelines. And we're trying to simplify things. Cool. So here are the 6 ideas we're going to talk about today. If you're taking notes, these might be the first 6 things you write down. These are the 6 priorities that we're going to cover. Number 1, getting enough protein. Number 2, hydrating well. Number 3, filling up on fibrous proteins. Number 4, fueling for and recovering from your workouts. Number 5, being smart with carbs. And number 6, supplementing wisely. Okay? Let's jump right in.
Hold on, go back.
Sorry?
You're fast.
Very quick slide.
You can't write as fast as that. Really? It might be in my clipboard. I might have actually grabbed it off the printer. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever become a personal trainer, I highly recommend you purchase a storage clipboard. It's very handy for carrying all your workouts around. However, I also recommend you clear out your storage clipboard on a pretty regular basis, or else you'll just pile stuff up in there, and when it comes time to find your sign-in sheet, you can't. So we're going to use this sign-in sheet that I used before. Later we're going to talk about professionalism. All right, so ignore the first 2 names on here. The sign-in sheet's purpose is I'm going to email you the slides later today, so that if I do go too fast and you didn't have a chance to write down everything, you'll have a chance to look it up. And if you need more information from me, there's a column over here that says notes, where you can write down something like, I'm allergic to spinach. How am I possibly going to survive? There's not a lot of space though, so maybe just put like spinach bad. We ready to go? Ready to move on? Take your time.
Yeah, once we're gonna get the slides, I don't need to write it down, right?
Well, and I mean, we're going to hit all of those things.
Yeah.
So when people say enough protein, our good friends at the RDA say this much is enough. Roughly 0.36 grams per pound of body weight per day. And the RDA is not wrong. However, that target is built for people who are sedentary, not people who come to the gym. And it's to keep you alive, not to make you stronger, not to make you thrive. And so, optimally, you need more than that. Here it is in kilograms, here it is in pounds, or more. 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight per day is proven to do these great things. Support tissue health, growth, repair, and performance for active people. Now, before you start doing math on your calculators, I have an easier formula for you, which is to aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight per day. So if you currently weigh 250 pounds and you want to weigh 200 pounds, don't eat 250 grams of protein every day, whereas that's going to still help you in a lot of ways. If your main goal is weight loss, you want to go for a lower number. Makes sense, right? There was a time in my life when I first joined a gym, and I was a scrawny little 120 pounder, and I wanted to be a big, strong 175 pounder, and the probably personal trainer that I met with told me I needed to eat 175 grams of protein every day. And that's all he told me. He didn't give me any other advice. And so I immediately went out and had a triple cheeseburger that night and got really close to my 175 grams of protein. There are better ways. Take that. But there's your thing. Or we can look at fat-free mass. So if you use our fancy in-body scale upstairs, you might know what your lean mass is. That's another number you can work on. But the bold print is your takeaway. Okay? Write that part down. Here's more benefits of protein intake. They are multitude. And here's a study, which in the slides, when you get them, we'll have a link down here. And also at the very end of the slideshow is like 19 studies you can go read on your own or with a friend. I don't know what you do with your spare time. But look at all these fun things you can do. Your body's going to get better, it's going to get healthier. Eat a lot of protein. Have I made myself clear? How to get enough protein? Number one, plan and prep your proteins. Unfortunately, protein is not as readily available or shelf stable as things like carbs, right? You probably have a box of cereal at home. You probably don't have a box of beef sitting in your cabinet at home. If you do, you probably need to throw that away. That's not how we store beef. So you have to plan. You have to plan ahead for your protein. You have to make it. You have to cook it. You have to store it safely. And that can be more difficult than carbohydrates, which is why we tend to trend toward carbs, right? You need to spread it out throughout the day. If you can get around 20 or more for every meal, that's going to be very helpful in achieving your goal. If you try to get your 120, 150, 175 grams of protein in like one meal, that's going to be uncomfortable. Eat protein first at each meal. That's what I do for my 7-year-old daughter. We sit down. She gets her plate of things that she wants to eat, plus the things I need her to eat. And then I say, Layla, where's your protein? And she can identify it. And then she tries to act like she's eating what she's actually eating. The macaroni and cheese. And then supplement is needed. If you have a large goal to hit on your protein, it's going to be easier to get with protein shakes, which are cheat codes, right? 30 grams of protein in 16 ounces of liquid is way easier than an entire chicken breast, which is about 30 grams, but more filling in a shake, right? Getting a lot of like nods, but like move on to the next slide nods. Okay,
A lot of protein in that bowl up there.
in that bowl up there, the acai bowl from the Life Cafe. Oh, we might have samples coming, by the way. Sorry, I should have led with that. Somebody asked if there was going to be food, and so I emailed our cafe manager and said, hey, I'm doing this thing, can you provide food? She said they have a new flavor of protein bites, and she was going to bring some. And if we don't see her in about 10 minutes, I'll send Kelly on that mission too. Did you know you were going to be my runner?
I need the
Which one
steps,
today?
it's fine.
Next. We get the steps. Yeah. Again, this will be emailed to you, but look at all these resources. If you guys haven't been to Experience Life yet, it's one of the like subheadings of our main website, and it's where all of our nutrition coaches hang out and put up articles like 3 times a week, and they're amazing. And here are just some of them, and here are some of the other things you can see on that website with recipes and 10 genius ways to use protein powder. These are the links over here. Okay, so check out Experience Life. They have tons of articles. Moving on. So number 1 is what? Get protein. A lot of protein. Can you get too much protein? Yeah, probably, but like that's not going to be your problem. Your problem is going to be you think you have a lot of protein, you track it all, and you end up with 75 grams. Cool. Next up, hydrating well. Fun rule of thumb is 1/2 an ounce of water. I get thirsty every time I get to the hydrate slide. 1/2 an ounce of fluid per pound of current body weight per day, plus some more for exercise. That's delicious. I'm sponsored by water. That's one rule of thumb. How much is that, though? The National Academies of Science, Engineering, and Medicine, so not a health and fitness body, but a medical body, came up with these gigantic numbers, almost a gallon for men, and well over 1/2 gallon for women. 20% of which, though, can come from fresh food. So if you're eating a salad, there's a lot of fluid in that. There's a lot of moisture in that. They were allowing that to count. I don't know how you count the water in your spinach, though. I'm sure there's a device. Also, if you are drinking a lot of water, if you're going to consider increasing your water intake, you need to also increase your electrolytes. And there are lots of companies that would love to sell you an expensive powder, which tastes like gummy bears, You can put in with your water, and there are your electrolytes. Also, salt. Pinch of salt in your water, or just eat a normal, somewhat salt-included diet, will be fine. But if you're drinking so much water that like you're getting headaches, let me know. Let's figure out how to make that better. I don't want you to give yourself problems by drinking too much water.
Isn't it possible to get drunk drinking too much?
You can actually kill yourself drinking water. There was a contest for this was many years ago, as evidenced by the prize on the line. But there was a contest called "Hold Your Wii for a Wii." You guys remember the Nintendo Wii? If you don't know the Nintendo Wii, it's been 15 years.
My mom did it for her son and died, right?
Mom did it for Sunday?
Yeah.
You had to drink a whole gallon of water in like 5 minutes, and then when you had to pee, you were out. And the lady just straight up died. Water. Cool. So don't drink too much water, but you're going to see so many symptoms before that happens. Don't be, Chasley size and try to drink a gallon of water in 1 sitting. That would be a bad idea. Some more articles about hydration. Ways that aren't plain water, if you don't like water, here's some benefits of drinking water, and why drinking water isn't enough to stay hydrated, because you got to get that sodium, those electrolytes. So number 1 was?
Protein.
How much protein?
A lot.
A lot, yes. Number 2 was?
A lot.
I agree.
A lot of water. Again, not too much. I asked my 6-year-old last night after we went out to dinner. I said, hey, what advice would you have for people? She goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I would say good advice is get a lot of sleep. She goes, oh, yeah. I would say drink a lot of water. I was like, oh, great advice. And she goes, eat a lot of food. And I was like, when we tell her that, she's like this big, and read a lot of books. I was like, you're my daughter. Are you just saying these things so I'll be happy? It's working. Number 3 then, fill up on fibrous produce. Produce means something that grows out of the ground. Fibrous produce is the stuff you eat. We're not talking like fruits as much as vegetables. For fibrous, high intakes of fibrous produce will have lower rates of chronic disease, lots of nutrients. Deeper colors means more antioxidants and phytonutrients. If you're going to eat a whole big giant bowl of cauliflower rice, that's good, but mixing in some other greens and other vegetables would be better. Eat your salads, Mom would say. I want to strive for at least 5 cups a day. When was the last time you ate 5 cups of vegetables in 1 day?
Actually, I measured it in
Maybe in a week.
ounces.
Measure an ounce of food scale?
Yeah, food
Yeah.
scale.
I love food
My
scale.
salads are 12 to 16 ounces.
Okay. Of what?
The greens,
Anything else?
kale, well, yeah, maybe some tomatoes, some cucumbers, some
Yeah, keep going.
sugar snaps, some
Ooh.
asparagus, radishes, turnips.
Beets?
You
You don't like beets?
No.
Oh,
we
I
like
love-
weeds.
When they're in season and they're baby.
Oh, okay.
The little baby ones will just slice up
Beetlets.
like a radish.
I love beets.
I do too.
Chop them up, put them in a salad, and then like you put the salad in the fridge, you come back and suddenly everything's purple. It's like magic.
Yeah.
All right, some ways to eat some more veggies. You can blend some veggies into protein shakes. Be careful. Don't put like, I don't know, asparagus would probably overwhelm just about everything else you can put in your protein shake. But I'll do handfuls of spinach all the time. Can't really taste it. You do have to check your teeth afterwards when you're trying to blend up spinach. That's a cheat code. Cauliflower rice instead of rice. Hint, it doesn't taste like rice. The very first time I made something with cauliflower rice, I was very excited. I was like, this is going to be a vegetable, and I'm not going to be able to tell the difference. You can tell the difference. It's cauliflower. But it's good for you. It's a nice texture. Taking some sort of squash, I think we've got one right up here, where you've taken the squash, you've baked the squash, you've used a fork to turn that into noodles. Go for produce when you're snacking. What other ideas? How do you guys fit in your veggies? Obviously, just big salads are helpful.
Big salads and roasted or steamed, like broccoli or any of the other vegetables, kale, collard greens. Eat a lot of
I actually like them, so I don't mind eating them raw.
Yeah.
So you get it in
I'll
by
snack
eating.
them, yeah.
Some cook, some raw. Yeah. Carrots are a great snack. Celery's a great snack.
I have a client who just adores celery
Mm-hmm.
and puts celery salt on everything. You ever had celery salt? I was like, what does that taste like? He said celery. And I was like,
Celery. And celery seed.
celery seed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. I'm really proud of you. It's very healthy. Keep it up.
Ever heard of ants on a log?
Well, yeah,
that's a good thing.
because I like
Okay,
peanut
there you
butter.
go.
It's just a peanut butter delivery device.
Right.
That's protein.
Peanut butter's a protein, yeah.
Number one was?
Protein.
Number two was?
Hydration,
Number three?
fibrous,
Fibrous produce. Fibrous produce. Number four, fueling for and recovering from strenuous training. Pre and post workout. So we call this priorities, so this must be somewhat important, right? Do you personally need to change your eating and drinking before and after workouts? And the answer's already up there, maybe. We go all the way back to the foundation here, that exercise is not the thing that makes you stronger, it's recovering from that exercise that makes you stronger. If you are building your legs and you're doing lots of squats, doing the squats doesn't make you stronger. Doing the squats actually breaks down your muscle. That's why when you have a heavy leg day, I encourage you to take the elevator instead of walking down the very pointy stairs that we have here. It's because you're doing damage to the muscles. But when you eat enough protein and you drink enough water and you get enough rest, you can recover from that and get stronger. That's when the change actually happens. But are there things you might need to change before and after workout? Yes, if you're working out for 90 minutes or longer, there is actual muscle damage occurring, which is what should be happening. If you're strength training, there should be actual tiny little micro tears in the fiber of the muscle that then repair and grow stronger. If you're training hard frequently, more than 3 times a week, I recommend 4 times a week. And if your daily nutrition pattern is inadequate, then yeah, you might need to do something differently to get good workouts.
what do you consider to be training?
Strength training is lifting something heavier than you lifted last time. Sure, that's a definition. Something that's going to cause muscle soreness is definitely strength training.
So all these studio classes, would you consider to be training?
Oh, yeah.
Would you ask me that question when Candace isn't right there? I would
Or
consider.
after class.
I would consider
Do
our.
you improve each class?
Do you improve each class? I don't know. I would consider those workouts. I would consider many of them cardio, right?
So is cardio training?
Cardio is not strength training.
Okay, so you're talking about strength training?
Yes.
When you say training, there on that previous
Yes.
slide.
I hope that says.
You're not,
I think it did.
you train hard more than 3 times a week. So if you strength train, lifting heavy stuff 2 times a week, and you attend some very active HIIT classes, yoga, is yoga considered?
Yoga's not strength training. And they're like fire. Our fire classes.
Well, that's
are
not
strength
yoga though, in my opinion. I don't know.
We're getting
Anybody-
into definitions here.
Yeah.
I mean, you work out hard. I saw you over there on the platform.
Yeah.
When you go to Candace's classes, that is strength training. Because I've watched her classes. I've watched the people breaking into tears of joy.
We're all out of her classes.
Yeah.
You die.
But like, I used to teach group fitness classes. And like, I taught a kickboxing class where there were no weights. It was basically shadow boxing, body combat, if you ever heard that. People would get sore from that, but not because it was strength training, but because it was different movement patterns than they're used to, and you're not used to doing capoeira at the gym. If you are used to doing capoeira at the gym, find a different gym. That's a capoeira gym. So you probably not, because I know you eat a healthy diet all the time, right? Just talking about vegetables. Here are some considerations. Everyone who's training hard, so that's 3 more times a week, 90-ish minutes, you need to look at getting some protein within 2 hours before, and some amino acids. BCAAs in powder form is an easy way to do that. Also, protein is amino acids that just haven't been broken down yet. So if you get a good protein shake a couple hours before, that's me. You check that box. And within an hour after that, it's another one. Okay? If you are near your body composition goal, if you're like, just a couple pounds away from being exactly where you want to be, you can do the 20 grams of protein, plus some complex carbs, or UCAN, if you've seen UCAN in our cafe. It's a complex carb. Essentially, it's a starch. It gives you some good energy that doesn't cause you a crash at the end. And then afterwards, same thing, put some creatine. Creatine is in most protein powders. If you have a high quality protein powder, you should check the label.